Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So usually if you've been coming to my channel, you know that I usually do reviews or reactions to movies, movie trailers, or reactions to some TV shows. But actually, since it was such a big event, I wanted to do something a little bit different and talk about, my thoughts on the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight that came out on Netflix and was supposed to be Netflix's big debut into the boxing world and I believe into the sports world at that, with putting sports events on Netflix as well as having these live events on Netflix. And let's just say that it was pretty much a train wreck in my opinion. Let's start with the main character of this whole promotional event, and it was a character called Buffering. And yes, I'm using buffering as a term for a character because that's pretty much what was going on the whole night with this whole live event. And I mean, it most likely had to do with all the people coming into Netflix, just to watch this fight. But I mean, the buffering was crazy. It literally, like, with me, I had to stop, Netflix like a bunch of times just to get it working, just for it to work for another 20 minutes to finally, start doing it again. And I mean, it wasn't just me. I mean, it was going on everywhere. It was a worldwide problem with this event, and Netflix constantly having lagging and buffering issues just so that people could watch this fight. And I mean, the thing is, when Netflix found out that Jake Paul was probably going to promote this onto, this streaming platform, people were probably, they knew that millions of people were going to come and sign up for Netflix just to watch this fight. I mean, they should have been prepared for that. They should have been prepared for the lagginess and the buffering issues and amount of people that were going to come to watch it, yet they weren't. It was still the same issue. No matter how great your internet was, there were problems everywhere. And I mean, that's just seriously a letdown, especially for the result we got at the very end, just to have it go through that stress and everything. The live event pretty much made it pointless. And, after watching it, I was tempted, to just watch it on my phone. But, I didn't. I still stuck it out and watched it on my Samsung TV out in my living room. But just to get just to sit through all that, just to get what I got at the very end, no. No, that was a complete waste of time. After Taylor and Serrano, we got the big main event that we were all waiting for and suffering through, the lagging and buffering issues, watching these other fights to finally see Jake Paul take on Iron Mike. And this fight has been, of course, been promoted for the longest time. It was originally supposed to happen back in July, but of course, Tyson had to drop out because of medical issues. If I recall, it was an ulcer. And then, of course, now we got it here in November. And of course, they put a lot of money into this promotion. Of course, they had the countdown moment, of course, on Netflix, where we were watching them, prepare all the way up to the moment where, they had to fight. Then we had the weigh-in, of course, with, Mike Tyson slapping Jake Paul. And I was thinking, like, okay, that was all set up and staged. That wasn't, like, real, like, legitimate hate. Because honestly, in my opinion, there really is no real legitimate hate in boxing or in contact sports anymore. Everyone has, like, respect for each other. And then we finally got up to the fight, and it was just really pitiful. It was a big old show, in my opinion, because, I mean, you had Jake Paul coming in, in a car with his brother and everything, and then you had, Mike Tyson, of course, just coming out normally like he always has. And then, of course, the fight was just pitiful. It's like the first two rounds, yes, that looked like Iron Mike right there. And then all of a sudden, everything just switched, and everything went Jake Paul's way. Now, I mean, of course, Mike Tyson is old now. He doesn't seem to have, like, the speed he used to have when he was younger. But, I mean, this was all really just a fight for show. Everyone's going to hear, like, you're going to hear both sides of the coin. Oh, it was fake. Oh, Mike Tyson just doesn't have it anymore. But, I mean, this doesn't seem like, the fight that, really needed to happen other than it being for promotional reasons. Just, for them to come out with something in the end. But I mean, I really like to say that part of it was staged because I know Mike Tyson still got his power and durability, it seems like, but I mean, he didn't even throw 100 punches in that fight, as you can see. And I wonder why. That just sounds so odd that he's just standing there, just doing nothing, just getting hit. And Jake Paul is the one, the big highlight of this whole fight. So, I mean, it just seemed like, a big old train wreck letdown in both sides. Because, I mean, if it was staged, then, I mean, everyone knows it was staged. But if that was supposed to be real and that was supposed to be our main event for the night, that's just a train wreck, in my opinion. We went through all that just to get that kind of a snooze fest. No, that's not the main event we were hoping for. We were hoping for an actual fight, and that didn't seem like a snooze fest. That didn't seem like a fight. That just seemed like, sparring practice for one person. It's just like, wow. That was pretty wasteful of staying up this whole time, suffering through this for 5 hours on Netflix just to get that snooze fest. So it's, no. Overall, Netflix's big, introduction into the world of boxing is like, no. This was just, really, really, really big letdown by Netflix. Not only, for, not being prepared, but also for giving us a snooze fest event. Because, I mean, this event was was all hyped up like for nothing. To give us, something that's like a really poor main event. I mean, like I said, the real main event, in my opinion, was the Serrano and Taylor fight. And maybe that should have been how the night ended, not with Paul and Tyson. But, I mean, of course it did. They were the headline of this whole, event. But I think Taylor and Serrano were far more entertaining than any of the other fights that we watched. Or that was watched on Netflix. But, I mean, if Netflix plans to do something like this again, they need to be more prepared, definitely. Because if it happens like this again, probably a lot of people aren't going to stay up to watch the whole live event.